We often think that sustainability is a new thing, and whenever we talk about it, it's usually about the future. What will the future look like if we don't take care of the planet? What will the future look like if we do take care of the planet? What changes do we need to make? But I do believe that there's a lot of value in taking a short trip to the past as well and learning about things that we've done already. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Green Earth Podcast. I'm Pedro Zimmer, your host, and before we begin, I'd like to remind you that the Green Earth Podcast is a Green Earth initiative. Green Earth is a large-scale, nature-based project developer, and our goal is to help nature flourish and prosper. If you want to read more about our projects, please check our website, green.earth. The link is also in the description. As we mentioned in the first episode in this series, the man versus nature paradigm is literally in the first written story of mankind, the Epic of Gilgamesh, for those that don't remember. So we're definitely not innovators by taking care of the environment or worrying about it. Whether it's Japan managing its forests or the fantastical creatures named ants fighting against Sauron and its military-industrial complex destroying the forests in Lord of the Rings, thinking and evaluating our relationship with nature is a fundamental theme in our stories. There's one particular thing that we do that often brings issues and therefore concerns regarding the environment, and that's technological progress. As soon as we discover and master the resources around us, we'll naturally start using them. And of course, they'll eventually run short. Now, this is certainly expected for natural resources such as gold or petroleum. They're not infinite, and nature isn't creating those out of nowhere. But that's not the case for trees, right? After all, they're literally growing out of the ground. You cut one and another will grow in its place. Well, that's not really how it works. It would definitely be the case if our total population was something like 12, but we've gathered a much larger group than that. In the past, we could simply walk into the woods, choose a tree, and make it our new house or a new ship or tools. However, it didn't take long until villages became towns, towns became cities, and the demand for resources became bigger than the actual supply. We've talked about how Japan started managing forests in the 1500s, but in this episode, I wanted to share the story of a project that didn't exactly work out the way they intended, but it didn't go wrong either. In the spirit of doing the right thing for the wrong reasons, I'd like to share the story of the Visingsö oak forest. Ever since the Age of Discovery, the forests in Europe were extremely important for building ships, and one tree was particularly sought after: the oak. Due to its unmatched combination of strength, durability, and natural resistance to rotten, oak was a tree that was chosen to give life to ships for Vikings, voyagers, and sailors, actually until quite recently. About 200 years ago, the Swedish crown had a big problem. Great part of the Swedish Pomerania's oak forests were lost to floodwaters after the Napoleonic Wars, and the Navy needed to secure a safe supply of timber for its vessels. This was, of course, a long-term project, as oak is a very slow-growing tree, taking usually 150 years to reach the ideal size for high-quality, dense timber. So, the Crown sent out a delegation to find a suitable location to plant and grow these trees, because it needed timber for military purposes. Now, legend has it that a long time ago, a giant named Vist tossed a bunch of grass into the lake Vatn so that his wife could step on it, thus creating an island that would later be named Visingsö. Well, the Crown's delegation eventually reached this island and noticed a couple of remarkably straight oak trees growing right next to a house owned by an old lady. Over the following 10 years, over 300,000 oak trees were planted by the Navy. Now they would only need to wait 150 years to use that timber to build their vessels. And by the way, the Swedish Navy wasn't the only one to do projects like that. In the past, oak was quite the military resource. The US Navy also maintained live oak reservations for its vessels. In fact, it still maintains those alive. The curious thing about the Visingsö oak forest is that when the time came to cut those trees down, they didn't need them anymore. And that's because ships aren't made out of wood anymore. So they chose to just leave the trees there. And the island is now a national park, which, according to many internet reviews, is a really pleasant place for walks or bike rides. And during summer, there are also horse and wagon rides. Technically, the project didn't work out as planned, but I definitely wouldn't go as far as saying that it was a failure. After all, oak trees are exceptionally good for the environment, as they are considered a sort of a key species for biodiversity, carbon sequestration, soil health, and much more. If you ask me, I'd say that that's even better. Instead of using that timber for military purposes, now there is a great national park there that people can enjoy and walk around and ride their bikes. To me, that's a win. Thank you for joining us today. The Green Earth Podcast is a Green Earth initiative. Green Earth is a large-scale, nature-based project developer, and our goal is to help nature flourish and prosper. If you want to read more about our projects, please check our website, green.earth. The link is also in the description. If you enjoyed this podcast, please consider leaving us a review. And if you know anyone that might benefit from this content, we'd greatly appreciate your recommendation. I'm Pedro Zimmer, your host, and I hope to see you for the next episode of the Green Earth Podcast.